Man alive. That was some kind of Wednesday. I had a tweet go like kind of semi-viral last night. That's weird. Not used to that. Fell asleep after sending it because my kids are waking up at 4 in the morning these days. So I got to about 9:15 out here, and then the room started spinning, and I just crashed face first into the bed, fully clothed. And I woke up to a tweet that had 950 likes on it. That's weird for me. I don't usually say things controversial enough to get into the algorithm like that. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. I am at Dan Vespris. Also, my name is Dan Vespris. And this show is brought to you by FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook. Check them out today. We're a member of the Believe Network of podcasts, and we've got a Wednesday to recap that was jam-packed with weirdness. But before we do that, I want to remind you guys that January is one new subscriber month here on Old Man Squad, meaning if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, however you're taking in the content, I'm trying to get one new subscriber per episode. So please do hit that button, be that one new sub. So far, this little promo fest is going relatively well. Growth has actually been a lot faster this month than the prior one. So apparently one new sub January is a hit. It's a hit. Toronto beat Indiana. This ball game was not particularly close. It got closer at the very end, but this was more blowout than it wasn't. The nice part is that Indiana made a little bit of a push. I think they got it down to like 6 or 7 points. And so the Raptors had to leave their main guys in a little longer. So that was cool. Grady Dick had 20 and 10. Well, 21 and 11. That came out of nowhere. He is, barely streamable. RJ Barrett was out. Emmanuel Quickley was out. And it took Jamison Battle going down and Grady Dick getting hot for this to happen. So this is very much a watch list scenario. Jamal Shed as the starting point guard is pretty much guaranteed to get you 5 assists. So that's also kind of borderline. The guys you're definitely playing are Ingram, Barnes, and Colin Murray-Boyles right now. And then we'll just see who comes back for Toronto's next ball game. So nobody that you needed to race out to get. But if you were hunting a little bit of scoring, you go Grady. If you're hunting a little bit of assists, you go Shed. Or you don't have to do either of them because they don't play today. They play Friday, Sunday. 2 games the rest of the week is sort of And Roto, they're not good enough anyway. Indiana, the good news here is that they also made a little bit of a run to get this thing to within striking distance. The bad news is that almost nobody had a decent fantasy line. Pascal Siakam was okay, but he continues to be super inefficient. Jay Huff had 3 blocks, but only played 16 minutes despite starting the game. Aaron Nesmith shot 1 for 12, and if you thought he was shooting poorly before, allow me to present to you this basketball game. Johnny Furphy had a double-double, kind of came out of nowhere for 10 and 10. What I would do here is you're continuing to start Nembhard, Siakam, and Nesmith, because at some point he's going to have to make a shot, one would think. Although if you wanted to bench him until he got hotter in Roto, you could do that. Jay Huff is a guy I'm going to keep on my rosters as long as he's starting. You can kind of give him the Danny Green treatment also, which is like, look, if he's starting, I'm just going to close my eyes and hope that at the end of a month he's doing okay. But if he's in and out of the starting lineup, that's where you got to be a little bit more careful. This ball game, they went small ball, Siakam at the 5, and that's why none of the sort of traditional centers played all that much. Tony Bradley got 19 minutes, but I think they had Siakam at the 5 for like 8 or 9 minutes, and so that cut into whatever a center might get. Darius Garland hurt his other toe. After the game, initially it was reported that he re-injured his problematic one, and then they changed it. They said, no, it's the right foot this time. So hopefully that means the absence is not quite as long, but odds are he's going to miss a couple of ball games. And that sucks because he was just finally starting to show signs of coming around. There isn't, and this was a blowout too, so that also makes it tougher. There isn't a super obvious immediate pickup. Jalen Tyson had been someone that had seen success when a usage guy was out for the Cavaliers in the past. It's also possible that Lonzo Ball ends up getting the start and he becomes sort of like a fringe fantasy asset. I think if you were trying to get out in front of it and you were like, I definitely need to pick up a Cavalier, which you don't, by the way, you don't definitely need to do anything. Cleveland only plays tomorrow and then they're done for the week. So head to head, their schedule stinks. Roto, if you're like, I think there's going to be, it's It's probably Tyson, but best to leave that one alone. Also, Sam Merrill went down, and that was really the story of yesterday. We haven't seen a lot of them yet, but Garland and Merrill both hurt. The list of players hurt on a 7-game card yesterday was downright idiotic. But this is why I've been trying so hard to figure out what to do with Sam Merrill, because he shifted back to the bench in this ball game. And then I don't know what he would have done had he actually stayed healthy for the entirety of it. He left pretty early in the game. But you can drop him. That's pretty clear. Drop Merrill. And look at the Sixers side. This is a healthy 76ers starting 5, basically. And then Dominic Barlow got hurt 8 minutes into the ball game. So, odds are you're going to get more Kelly Oubre. You'll probably get a little bit more Quentin Grimes, who is also most likely droppable. I don't know that either one of those guys needs to be rostered. Philly also doesn't have a great schedule to finish this week. Just one game over the final 4 days of this stanza. You're going to see some more Jabari Walker, but nobody should care about that. You're going to see more Trendon Watford, and nobody should care about that either. This is Barlow going down doesn't really pop anyone loose. It just, if you were, let's say you were streaming Grimes or Oubre or something like that, you might as well just hold on to them through their game tomorrow. But Roto, none of those guys is a factor at all. Diamin, trading off good games and bad games. He needs to be rostered everywhere through the trade deadline. No question about that. Day'Ron Sharpe had 15 and 9 in only 19 minutes. I think he needs to be rostered too, because he's doing it in 19, 20 minutes a ball game. He's fantasy startable in basically every format in 20 minutes a night. Yes, I desperately wish that Nick Claxton would miss a little bit of time. But even if he doesn't, you're getting enough out of Day'Ron Sharpe to get him on rosters. The rest of the team, I don't think anything changes. I've been telling you since day one, I didn't think Noah Clowney was going to be a 9-category player. And a lot of you guys yelled at me. And none of you guys have been yelling at me lately, because Clowney's number 198 in 9-cat this year. And even if you punt his worst category, which is field goal percent, he still doesn't really hit the marks. He's just not a good fantasy player. He's Jeremy Grant without the great free throw shooting. A little more durable, I suppose. So yeah, Clowney, he's a punt, probably a double punt guy. Cam Thomas, also a punt guy. Claxton's a start. MPJ, obviously a start. Sharpe is a start. Diamin's probably a start. And then nobody else is relevant. Trey Murphy, how good has he been this year? Woo! Trey up to number 10 in 9-category leagues. Not bad. Eve Missy outplayed Derek Queen in this one, but I wouldn't pivot on that one at all. Jeremiah Fears had a bad shooting game, but he's a punt guy, so you're holding him in head-to-head. Sadiq Bey is a guy I'm pretty much playing everywhere. I didn't much care for the 26 minutes, but generally, when he's starting for this team, he's doing enough. And then Jordan Poole, we downgraded a few days ago to a head-to-head only guy, and this is why. You can't use that against the games cap. That's fugly. Nobody got hurt, oddly enough, in that ball game, which was notable because once we get through this next one, then it's just like injury on top of injury. Bryce Sensabaugh exploded for 43 off the bench. It was the most bench points in the first quarter. I think he had 21 first quarter bench points or something like that. It was the most bench points for anyone in the NBA in almost 3 decades. He's going to get added everywhere because of it, but you don't need to, because the other stuff he does is fairly microscopic. We're seeing regularly here that Sensabaugh's big games line up with when the Jazz are resting other guys, because the previous game, when the Jazz weren't resting everyone, he played 24 minutes and had 7 points and a steal. The game before that, when they rested a bunch of dudes, that was the 55-point blowout loss. He had 26 points. The big issue with Sensabaugh is that he doesn't really do anything besides shoot. Even over this amazing stretch, if you want to say the last 7 days, where he's obviously going to have a top something, he's still averaging in 30 minutes a game only 3 rebounds and 1.5 assists. So, it's got to be insane scoring or it ain't going to be enough. So he's streamer level, sure, but start everywhere level, nah. This is game 2 for Utah on a 5 games in 7 days stretch, so he's on a good run right now as far as streaming goes. Kyle Filipowski had his first good game in God knows how long. No Markkanen, no Nurk, so it would appear that maybe he needs both of those guys to be out. Nurk sitting is certainly the more helpful one, but it isn't the only one. Walter Clayton had 5 points, 5 assists, 2 steals. He's kind of like, I think I had him as like my 6th trade deadline stash type. Ace Bailey had 10, 3, and 3. He's a little bit of a deadline stash type also. And then I don't care about the rest of these guys. Chicago pissed me off a little bit. Kobe White out there just not shooting. 6 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. Come on, Kobe. Take some shots, man. You can't just let Vooch take 22 shots. What's going on? Trey Jones remains a start. Vooch remains a start. Kobe, you're going to start. Buzelis, I guess you have to. My light Buzelis fade this year is seeming fine. He's number 105, which is startable. Barely, but startable. So Buzelis, you're starting. Those are the 4 guys you're starting right now. Ayo had a better ball game, but he and Kevin Huerter are kind of trading off in that respect. The name that I'm sure you guys want me to talk about because I called him an ad the day before is Jalen Smith, who got bumped back down to only 17 minutes, but he managed 12 points, 10 boards, and 2 threes in his 17 minutes. And I honestly couldn't tell you why he didn't play a little bit more in this game. Dunno. Just not quick enough, I guess. Vooch was too good, whatever you want to call it. They just played the center minutes, and they did not share the floor at all. I'm still trying to hold Jalen Smith through the deadline, if at all possible. It feels like this has to be the year that the Bulls get rid of Vooch, doesn't it? Please, Lord, let it be the one. Denver, Dallas. Yeah, we had some injuries in this ball game. Let's talk about Denver real quick, and then we'll do a promo break. Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Peyton Watson. Those are the start everywhere guys right now. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a threes streamer. Jalen Pickett is a little bit of some stuff streamer. Spencer Jones is a close your eyes streamer. And that's the Denver side. And before we get to Dallas and the rest of the card, where I tell you about all the injuries, I'm here to remind you guys to please go to the show description. Everything you need, everything you could possibly need is right there in the show description. The first thing you're going to see is the trade deadline live show page link. It's at our YouTube page, Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball YouTube. Old Man Squad Fantasy, I think it's just the YouTube page. Please go over there and hit that thumbs up button. We cleared 200. Yay! We did it, everyone. But the deadline is only 3 weeks away. So time is short. Time is so short. If we're going to get to 1,000 before the deadline, I need you guys to do it all right away. Please click the trade deadline link and thumb it up so you can bookmark that bad boy and we can have the biggest trade deadline show ever. Other stuff going on in the show description that I want you guys to be aware of. YouTube members, 99 cents to become a YouTube member. And then if you ask me questions on shows, I will see them because YouTube is kind enough to highlight member questions for me. I can go find those very quickly and very easily, and I can get back to you guys, as I've been doing lately. I've been seeing the questions. I've been answering the questions. There's 2 of them right now that I'm going to answer as soon as I get off the air. So that's 99 cents. Other stuff in the show description. Where is... I mean, you can do the 99 cents at Patreon as well. Did I put FanDuel in the show description? My bad, guys. FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook, not in the show description, but should be. They are our presenting sponsors here on Old Man Squad. Check out FanDuel and the FanDuel Sportsbook, as well as continuing to find me on Twitter at Dan Bespris, and 1 new subscriber month today. Be the 1 new subscriber here on Old Man Squad. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. Hit that button, subscribe, and let's keep going. Oh, boy. Oh boy. My kids watched Wreck-It Ralph 2. Cooper Flagg tried to play through his ankle tweak. Couldn't do it. Daniel Gafford, same sore ankle all season. Basically, this wasn't like another new big ankle thing. He just couldn't make it through the ball game. And so Dallas already down everybody. Now they're down everybody plus. No Anthony Davis, no Daniel Gafford, no Derek Lively, no Cooper Flagg, no Kyrie Irving. The list goes on and on and on. The players that are still alive for now that you should be eyeballing are PJ Washington, who had a bad ball game, but he's definitely startable because there's nobody left. Not Marshall, who's going to be a points, rebounds, assists darling with everybody on the shelf. And ... That's probably it. I'm going to sit on Gafford. Obviously, you're going to sit on Cooper Flagg. What to do with Anthony Davis, I honestly don't know. He's claiming he's not having surgery, but it's still going to be like probably a 4 to 8 week recovery on the hand stuff, even if he doesn't have surgery. So he's a, like, you're sitting on him because you blew a first round pick on AD when I told you not to. Can't risk it, man. Too risky. But you can't drop him. Oh, speaking of first rounders, you probably can't drop. Trae Young got ruled out through the All-Star break. I'm going to do some digging on that front. I still think he's going to play a couple of games in maybe late February, March, something like that, but I don't think it's going to be much. It's going to be like 20 minutes. Make sure he doesn't accidentally help them win a game kind of thing. I am not picking up Caleb Martin. I'm not picking up Dwight Powell. I'm not picking up Brandon Williams because Ryan Nembhard is still there. I'm not picking up Jaden Hardy. I'm not picking up Klay Thompson. Klay, you could probably stream if you needed threes, I guess. But there's 2 more injuries coming out of the day. Guess what? We had another one. New York lost Jalen Brunson 5 minutes into the game. And the Kings are on one of these weird little runs right now. That's what we talked about. Like, the teams that are truly bad, and the Kings are bad, but they have enough talent to accidentally win a few games. And that's kind of what they're doing right now. They're up to 11-30. Whee! They are still worse than the Nets. That's going to be a fight for those teams, but the Wizards are now behind them. Forget the Kings for a second. Let's talk about the Knicks first. So Brunson went down very early, which meant we should have had a pretty good look at what was going to go on in this game. Tyler Kolek got the start in the second half, but the guy you should probably be picking up is Deuce McBride. And I think you can probably go McBride in all formats because we talked about it a couple weeks ago when Deuce had some higher scoring games, whatever that was, like right around the turn of the year. He had back-to-back 5 3-pointer games, but Brunson was in, and so he had 2 assists. Yesterday, Brunson was out. Deuce shot the ball poorly, but he had 6 assists. He's over-rostered because he scores a fair amount, so he's not going to be as easy to pick up as he should be, but I mean, it seems like Brunson is probably going to have to miss a couple of ball games. And I would venture to say that McBride is going to have a little bit of value in the interim here because he's going to jack up some shots. And with the sort of point guard upside, I think he's probably a one-burger play. And I still am way behind on updating my boards. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to do it today, but I can't make any promises. Winter break has set me so far behind the 8 ball. Over on the Kings side, I don't know how this is happening, but Precious Achiuwa now has had like 3 or 4 good ones in a row. And 3. It's 3. And none of us want to believe what we're seeing because we know Precious Achiuwa well enough to know that it usually turns sour. But he's played 39, 30, and 39 minutes in 3 consecutive ball games. He had 10 and 7 with 3 steals in the first one and 3 assists. Game 2 of those 3, he had 9 points, 7 boards, and 2 blocks. And then this one, 20 points, 14 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He's not going to score. Even when he's playing minutes, he's not going to score very much. But he's probably going to get you somewhere between 6 and 10 rebounds a game. He generally averages more than a steal per game in starters' minutes. And that's what you're seeing over the last week. He's top 100 because he still can't shoot a free throw, but 2.8 combined defensive stats and 7 rebounds gets him on the board. That's a one-burger play, so Precious is a one-burger guy. While we wait on, I guess Keegan Murray is, I don't know, I think he's like about a week and a half away from his evaluation. By the way, with as good as he was, I saw Keegan Murray get dropped in a league, which seemed nuts. I loves me some Keegan Murray. I can't drop Keegan. But he got ruled out for 3 to 4 weeks like 9 days ago. So, I kind of understand it. You want to squat on a player who's out if you don't know exactly when he's coming back. But like Keegan, when healthy, has been a top 50, 60 guy this year. Make sure somebody didn't drop him. And then that's going to obviously ruin Precious Achiuwa. Maxime Renaud is, as I've said before, a streamer only. DeMar, Levine, Russ, these guys are all starts while we wait on anybody to come back. And then Malik Monk, he's a head-to-head ad. As I said before, head-to-head ad because he's back in the rotation, not a roto ad. And this game doesn't change any of that. Anybody get hurt in the next one? You betcha. Bilal Coulibaly got hurt. Alex Sarr got ejected. So somehow that's good news in all of this. Keyshawn George had his first good game in a long while. He's a head-to-head guy. Again, another dude that I got to move on my big board. Bump him down from all formats to head-to-head. Why do I have that all formats versus head-to-head discrepancy? Because in head-to-head, you can punt. Oh, by the way, there was a Jonathan Kuminga trade demand this morning. Like any of us thought he wasn't going to get traded almost immediately. Warriors got 3 weeks. They probably got something lined up already. They've been working on it for months. There was no chance he was going to last through this year. None. They showcased him. They didn't want to play him anymore. Now he's going to get moved. So Bilal Coulibaly went out with back tightness, which doesn't sound like a particularly large deal, but it did give us a glimpse of what one player being out might mean for Justin Champagnie, who didn't have a great ball game. And I love that because that means that he's still going to kick around on waiver wires, and it gave us a look at what might happen next. He didn't slide into the starting lineup for the second half with Coulibaly out. Bub Carrington did, and Bub, as we've talked about before, is a punt play. Trey Johnson also talked about him as a punt play. Nothing changes there. Marvin Bagley had a good line, but Sarr with the ejection, he'll be back for the next one. So don't worry too much about that. The guys I want us to focus on here are the wings, because Middleton took 14 shots in 27 minutes, and like he's gonna miss a ball game here coming up. We know that. When's Wizards next back-to-back? Oh, great. It's tomorrow and Saturday. So I don't know what Coulibaly's status is going to be, but we do know that Champagnie is going to get to play 25, 26 minutes when Middleton sits, and that's why I think I like Justin as somebody that I'm not going to add him today because they've got the back-to-back coming up, and might as well have somebody today that's actually playing today. But Champagnie is someone that we've been sort of hemming and hawing over, and when do you pick him up for the deadline, and how soon do you have to run him out there while you wait on Middleton? I think the answer is now, because now you've got a Coulibaly minor injury. You've got the Middleton back-to-back stuff. The Wizards don't have a back-to-back next week. Their schedule's not very good. They have a back-to-back in week 15 and another one in 16, and then it's the All-Star break. But the deadline is the All-Star break's like half a week after that. But the trade deadline, I guess the trade deadline isn't really the point. Do we think they're going to move Middleton? I don't know. I think they'll probably just let him be a veteran and help the kids learn. But regardless, I think I would add Justin Champagnie. Even if you're not saying on the Middleton rest stuff, you may as well on the Coulibaly thing, because that dude can't stay healthy at all either. Nobody got hurt on the Clippers in this ball game, but we got a reason why Ivica Zubac didn't come back in the previous one. He was dealing with an ankle thing. I mean, it might have also been because the Clippers were just playing better at the end of that game with Brook Lopez out there. But regardless, no Zubac. Brook played only 21 minutes. This game was over fairly early. You can tell by it ended up as a 14-point game. The Wizards, this was a little bit like that Indiana one where the Wizards made like the fake comeback. So a couple Clippers starters had to go a little heavier. No John Collins either in this game. It also felt a little bit like maybe those guys would have played if this was going to be a more competitive game. But Kawhi played, so that's good. Anyway, point of all of that is you're not picking up a John Collins replacement. I picked up Brook Lopez just in case we can squeeze a game out of him, but I think Zubac might be back for the next one anyway. So be ready to move on from that. So truly, it was and everybody was hurt kind of Wednesday, and we'll make the best of it. Let's do what we did yesterday. I'll give you guys the look at some of the sort of like quick recap here at the end. These are the main things from Wednesday. We've got the holds. This is how I've been formatting some of my recaps lately, which I think is kind of helpful. Colin Murray Boyles is a hold. Well, that should be obvious because he had a decent ball game. Jay Huff is a hold somehow. Aaron Nesmith is a hold, but if you wanted to bench him, I'm okay with that. Igor Diemen, he's a play. Sadiq Bey, Derek Queen, Trey Jones, these guys are all guys you're hanging on to. Jalen Smith, we're going to give another game, see what his minutes look like. Najee Marshall is a pretty obvious one. The ads out of yesterday, I can't believe I'm saying it, Precious Achua, which I misspelled. Oopsie whoopsies. I told you guys the room was spinning. I fell asleep right as I finished typing this thing. I can't believe I even made it through the darn recap. Day'Ron Sharp, Brooke Lopez, Justin Champagny. Those are the guys in the ads board. Watch list names, Bryce Sensabaugh, Kyle Filipowski, and that combo of Tyler Kolek and Miles McBride. I think it's Deuce is the one there. And Quentin Grimes makes my drop list, although, again, with Dominic Barlow out, maybe he makes the stream level. And then in my tweet thread, I reminded everybody to go hit the thumbs up on the trade deadline show. And so I'll just remind you guys to do that again here on the video show, because many of you are already on YouTube. All you got to do is just click over to it. You don't even have to leave YouTube and hit the thumbs up on our trade deadline live show. Follow me on Twitter at Dan Besbris, DanBesbris. Like the trade deadline show, consider the 99-cent membership. Not a big deal. Big thank you, as always, to FanDuel, the FanDuel Sportsbook. And, one new subscriber January. Rumble's on. It's you today. The new subscriber. There's the camera. Is you. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.